Okay guys and girls, hello and welcome back to the Trailer Fitters Toolbox, and today is a tool review on the Blue Spot Tools Heavy Duty Riveter, and you're going to be riveted by this video. Sudden awkward silence. So basically we do a lot of riveting in this job of mine, and of course if it isn't just replacing rivets that have come loose, it will be repairing things, okay, to conform, like dome head rivets for conformity. And of course, yes, these are spare rivets left over from jobs from the past. You know, the odd one or two rivet that gets chucked to the side, we always save them just in case. And there are so many different types, lengths and styles, it is unbelievable. But I can't tell you all about it, but what I will do is just give you a little bit of a heads up on the way the rivets are grooved, okay. Quite important actually, because when you look at a rivet, it either has grooves or it's smooth, okay. Now if it has two grooves like this, you can see how it's going to crimp up, whereas a smooth one will crimp like this, and they all have different jobs, and I can't tell you what they do, but I can tell you these copper headed blind rivets and these black dome head aluminium rivets and these countersunk rivets, okay, they all have the jobs, and you always make a choice, but it's the tools that make the difference. A rivet to me is a rivet is a rivet. If it can do the job, then I'll use it, okay. So here is my air riveter, and that is my own personal equipment, air powered, and this is for doing heavy jobs. And you can see here it needs to be connected to a wall, so it only ever comes out when I have to do quite a lot of riveting, or should I say considerable amounts during the day, which would be something like repairing one of these cabinets. Otherwise that sits in my box and collects dust. Whereas this one, the Lazy Tongues one, that's actually quite a heavy duty riveter for doing 6.4mm rivets, which we repair trailer roofs with. And believe me, we do a lot of these end caps that have been knocked off, or we have to remove them to do pelmets. So the rivet looks like this, which is aluminium, okay, brake mandrel, and this is a monobolt, okay, which is steel. And this is what is fitted onto the trailer, and the best way to do it is to use something like a taper punch to get them out and knock the center out so you can take the heads off. Believe me, they are really hard to remove, and you need a specialist rivet tool for this. It's not something that you can buy just a heavy duty tool for. So we make do by either using steel brake mandrel rivets, or we'll use aluminium ones, and at the moment we've got a stock of aluminium which is just as good. They do work, and of course these end caps always seem to be knocked off. As the trailer gets older, the more damage it will get. So basically, you know this type of riveter, don't you? You just pump it and away you go, and that will spread the rivet until the mandrel breaks. Yes, done and dusted. So that's a no-brainer, but it's a heavy-duty tool nonetheless, okay. So the rivets I use are 6.4, and they have a big mandrel. Now I've just replaced the jaws in this. You can actually buy kits for them. So the end here, which I've installed on here, you can you see there, that's the one for that, and that is a 4.9mm rivet, which is a hell of a difference. It's not so heavy duty, okay. So it's a good riveter, and it certainly does do some work, okay. Now this one here is what I've got for doing 4.9mm rivets, but you can do 2.4, 3.2, 4.0, 4.8 aluminium Cu, which is copper. And look at that tiny little aluminium rivet there, steel and stainless steel. So yes, it goes up to a 4.6 or 4.9, sorry. These are copper rivets, if you didn't know. Okay, I didn't realise they existed until today, and I just googled them, and they're quite cute. Obviously they're for decorative purposes. So the reason I accepted the challenge for reviewing this, and I've had this now 3 months in the workshop, is to see if I can break it, not by over stressing it, but just by using it. And believe me, it's actually lasted the time. So it's a regular go-to tool, okay, because doing 5 or 6 rivets, you don't want to get the air riveter out, whereas you do need something that can cope with these sort of rivets from day to day to day. Okay, so you can see how it operates. This one is it's an old one, and it actually isn't very good. It makes your hand ache after a while, and there's no adjustment on there, and it's broken. Yes, it's broken and worn out, whereas this one, well, actually can be repaired. Okay, so I did break the jaws in this. There was 3 of them and 1 of them snapped. Okay, so you can actually remove the cap off of it, and there you go, there are the teeth or the jaws, whatever you want to call them, and they can be replaced. And that's exactly what I did the other day. I ordered some actually from Sealy Tools, and you can see that is ready to go again. This is what a heavy duty riveter is about. It can cope with a little bit of stress, but also it's repairable and adjustable, which is vitally important. So you can see the difference between the lazy tongues and this one. Same setup, same jaw setup, and of course you can adjust it the same way. Yes, I will show you in the end of this video how to adjust these if you're interested. So you can adjust it up, away you go. If you break it, just repair it and put the tool back into service. So rivets, 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 and more rivets. You wouldn't believe how much stuff is actually riveted in our job, and I'm pretty sure that you have a use for this tool as well, especially if you happen to be a Land Rover owner, because the thing's put together with rivets. Size does matter. Yes, sometimes you will need a smaller tool that isn't going to take up space. Yeah, that'll do, that's okay. So the spread's pretty good on that, and it's lasting the time. Okay, so you can do different size rivets. You already know about that. You have the ends for it. Okay, and I always use 4.9s, and the brake mandrels go in a container, which is pretty handy because that saves me having to sweep those bits up. Yep, they can be put in the scrap for recycling. It can be a little bit confusing with rivet sizes and drill sizes. Use the size that it says you're going to use the rivet for. So 4.9mm rivet is a 4.9mm drill, and I've got loads of these. I always keep at least 10 in my box because of the amount of work we do, and these are hidden away in a green box away from prying eyes. While we're here, actually, I'll just show you a couple of specialist drills I've got in this box. One of those is for drilling out spot welds. Yep, never used them. And a set of flute drills, or fluted drills, which are basically step drills, but they're smaller sizes, as you can see. They're quite cute, aren't they? Right, so anyway, back to riveting, squeezing, crunching, and not banging. Okay, but it's just the mainstay, and after the amount of time I've had using this rivet gun, I've got to say that I can give it a thumbs up. It's okay, it's good, okay, it's lasted the time, especially with me. All right, so anything else you need to know? Yeah, that is the only wear it's had on it, and I've only used one drill size on this and no breakages whatsoever. What I do like, other than the fact that you can collect your mandrels, and this is on the job on that trailer I've just done, that's how many rivets I've used. Not only for a side guard but also for the Hascam board on the back here as well. Yeah, just quick work, you know, because it's not worth getting an air riveter out for the amount of time it takes to get the thing out. So yeah, no mandrels on the floor because they are all here. Yeah, but the container also holds the tool in place. If you having to use different size rivets, then you want to be changing the ends, of course. Yep, and the tool is there. So yep, that does one type of job for me. Thumbs up for that. Good, that's staying in the toolbox. And of course I have multiple jobs and for bigger jobs. Yeah, so each of these tools has a job. They're not preferable, they just are there. Right, so now I want to talk about setting this up, because when you change your end you need to set it up for rivets. So I'll take the tool out and I'll close this up, which draws the jaws back so you can remove the end. This end also is a spacer, okay, which opens the jaws out. So when you do that, you slacken the large nut off, you put the end on, and then you tighten it up so it doesn't move, okay, which is what the tool's for. Okay, doesn't have to be that tight, but if you're doing a lot of work you want to nip it up so it isn't going to move. Okay, so then you open it wide out so the jaws are as close as they can be to the nozzle, if you like. Then the idea is to use this adjustment until the rivet slides in and out. Okay, so if you move it one way too far it gets jammed in there, which you don't want. You want to move it back until you can slide it in and out. Okay, yeah, like that. All right, that is a set position. All right, so then you can do the lock nut up with a tool, and then as you see you've hardly got any play before it actually starts to grip the mandrel and then pull on it. Yep, that's the way it's done with all riveters like this, with this type of nozzle or head on. Yep, So once that's done, we can put the tool back in, put the mandrel catcher in place, and away you go, ready for some more work. Yeah, how about that? Links below if you're interested in buying this, but you can find it under Blue Spot Tools.